So now that it is official, now that Drew Brees has announced his retirement, people are going to be looking towards what's next for the New Orleans Saints. They've made a lot of moves in terms of salary cap. Let me just say the numbers in terms of cap. They began this offseason with nearly $100 million over the cap. That's how much cap space they had to clear. They were in complete win now mode. And since then, Saints have made many different moves, releasing many big players and restructuring so many contracts. They are now just $3 million over the cap. Some of those notable restructures include Michael Thomas, Cam Jordan, Demario Davis, and then they released Emmanuel Sanders and Quan Alexander and Janoris Jenkins. We let Trey Hendrickson go. The Saints have been making a lot of moves, and the front office has been going to work in order to fix this cap situation. Today also, they restructured Taysom Hill's contract, and now Taysom Hill is on a 4-year, $140 million contract, which sounds like a lot of big numbers, but I think most of it isn't like guaranteed money. There's a lot of wiggle room in that contract. So in terms of quarterback and Saints outlook moving forward, Joffrey, where do the Saints go next at quarterback?
Yeah, so first off, hats off to Mickey Loomis. What he has done is insane because I know that a lot of people did not expect this. A lot of people thought that Saints would be screwed. And I'm going to be honest, I was one of them. I didn't think that the Saints would be in such a good position because, most of the players we lost, they weren't too important to our team. They were 1-year rentals or they weren't as good as they were in their prime. And we got to keep most of our core players like Marshall Lattimore, Alvin Kamara. And as for what's next to the Saints, who's going to be the next quarterback? I mean, I hope it's Russell Wilson, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's most likely going to stay with the Seahawks, but if he does get traded, it's probably going to be to the Bears. But I mean, when I saw that 140 million contract from Taysom Hill, I was shocked. I was disappointed, but then because I don't want Taysom Hill to be the quarterback, I don't think he is a great quarterback. But then all of it's avoidable, so it's going to be fine. So I think the obvious choice for quarterback for the Saints is Jameis Winston, and I have a lot of belief in Jameis Winston. I think he can do a lot of great things for the Saints, and I think he will be the successor of Drew Brees. And I'm excited to see what happens to this team.
So we have one vote for famous Jameis. Kevin, who are you going to give your vote to for quarterback, and how do you see the Saints moving forward?
Yeah, well, first, I think shocked is a euphemism because you were spamming no in all caps in the group chat. And also, I think you're going too easy. I don't think we should let these people off the hook. I want the editor to put up all the instances of the TikTokers, the Instagrammers, the Twitters, of all the people who said the Saints will go 0-16 next year, all the people who said the Saints had to release their entire roster. Because you know what? We kept Ryan Ramczyk, Cameron Jordan, you have David Onyemata, you have Marshawn Lattimore, you have Marcus Williams, who was franchise tagged, even when there were over 60 million in the cap at the time of the signing, I believe. You still have Alvin Kamara. You have all these core players still on the Saints. What happened to the entire roster disappearing? As Serge mentioned, we lost Janoris Jenkins, Trey Hendrickson, Jared Cook. So first of all, Trey Hendrickson had a breakout year, but the past 2 years, besides that year, not so great. So, I mean, we don't know if this is actually Trey Hendrickson breaking out or if that was a result of the rest of the defensive line being so good. Janoris Jenkins, that does hurt. But Jared Cook, 1-year rental, 2-year rental. Emmanuel Sanders, 1-year rental. I mean, it's not like their impact was so huge, right? So I think the Saints are still in position to be competitive. I do think they got worse for sure. But in terms of quarterback play, I mean, obviously Russell Wilson is a dream scenario for any Saints fan, I would suspect. But I believe it's going to be Jameis Winston as well. Ian Rappaport reported that the Saints have actually already been working to get a new deal with Jameis Winston. It just hasn't been widely reported yet. The Taysom Hill contract, again, the people who overreacted to the Taysom Hill numbers, who said the Saints are stupid to give him $140 million. Please understand how the cap works. Please understand what void years are. This is just simple cap manipulation that Mickey Loomis, and by the way, Kai Harley, I think we should give him a lot of credit. He's never mentioned enough. The cap specialist for the Saints, they've been doing this for years. All of the teams who are complaining that this is unfair, that the league should change the rules, sorry, but I'm sorry that your general managers aren't smart enough to use the same rules that the Saints are using. This is all within the same rules. And any team can do restructures. Any team can backload contracts. I mean, the Saints front office is just nifty. It's not being financially irresponsible per se. I just think that they're staying within the rules and they're being very crafty. But my vote is towards famous Jameis, eat dubs all day.
Okay, yeah, I don't like when Jameis did that eat dubs thing because I think he was in the Superdome when he did it and he was in a Buccaneers uniform. But okay, I'm surprised. I'm surprised that both of you guys went for Jameis Winston. I do think Jameis has more talent as a passer of the football. I like Taysom Hill though. I don't see all the reason for slander. Um, I don't think I'm going to argue for Taysom Hill as a starting quarterback because I do believe it'll be Jameis Winston. That's just what everything is leading towards, and as we expected. But I think that there's a case for Taysom Hill as like the reason we did this is because we're still going to use him as that Swiss Army knife. We're still going to use him the same way that we've been using him with Drew Brees in the lineup, and if not more, because Jameis Winston is not Drew Brees. So I think Taysom Hill still has a role on this team. I think the team is um, I don't know. I don't think the team is going to be as good as it was either. I think the Buccaneers and even the Panthers might be better in the future in terms of the Panthers getting a good quarterback in the draft. So I think that the Buccaneers and the Panthers are both contesting with the Saints. Falcons as well. I think the Saints are not going to win the division, but I do think that this team is not as bad as everyone thinks it is.
You
Okay,
know,
is
I
that
also like to add on to the Taysom Hill point. I mean, even within the Saints fan base itself, there's so many people hating on Taysom Hill. People don't realize the value that Taysom Hill actually brings to the team, and not just in terms of what he does as a quarterback, but in all the other positions. And also, I mean, I frankly believe that if Taysom Hill were the starting quarterback, the Saints can still make the playoffs, be a 10 win team. I still firmly believe that. He went what 2-1 starter, and also it's Sean Payton, for God's sake. It's Sean Payton as head coach. He can design a system that caters to Taysom Hill's strengths. Do you not believe that he can do that? And just off the bat, mid-season with mid-season adjustments, he got Taysom Hill to get 2 wins out of his 3 starts. So why don't you think, with the whole offseason to prepare, that Sean Payton can't create an offensive system that specifically caters to Taysom Hill? I don't see why people would underestimate and overhate Taysom Hill.
You know, I agree that Taysom Hill's overrated, but um, the thing is, I like Taysom Hill has a red zone weapon, and you saw his impact when he didn't play against the Bucks game, uh, the playoff Bucks game, where the Saints struggled in the red zone. But I just don't think he's a great quarterback. You know, the Saints might go 6-10, 6-10, 7-9 with Taysom Hill, but I don't see them winning the division. I don't see them winning 10 games. I think he's an average quarterback at best. I think James Winston's a much better choice.
First of all, you can't be overrated when the entire league and every fan base hates you and thinks you're bad. So at this point, you're not overrated anymore. I mean, I would argue he was when he was hyped up by the NFL, but now he's not overrated. Now he's frankly underrated. And also you forget that the Saints still have an elite defense. I just have a hard time believing they will go 6-10, even with Taysom Hill as quarterback.
I mean, I think they need to get a good cornerback too. If you know, we expect to have a good, great defense again, because Janoris Jenkins might be a huge loss. There's a huge hole in that position, so we need to get a good second cornerback, and then you'll see maybe they will be the defense that they were the past 4 years.
or if in some way we can muster up the draft capital and get Russell Wilson, I think obviously the Saints are winning the Super Bowl, right? If we get Russell Wilson, that's a lock for the Super Bowl. No, no
100%.
questions there.
I can't make that call because a certain 43-year-old is still in the NFC. But I will say definitely a top contender.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing to our channel, the M2M Network, for more sports and entertainment content.